Okay, so today, guys, gals, boys, girls, women, and children of all ages, I'm going to talk about something, and I want to kind of keep it kind of simple and kind of nice and sweet, more than making some kind of bad economic video. I'll get into that next week. The United States is 1.325 trillion in debt and credit card debt. 1.3 trillion. Um, we're 30. Let's just say 38 trillion in U.S. debt right now. That's not good. That's not good at all. Things are looking a lot worse, not than really better. Foreign stuff is going to pieces. The deals and everything, it's going to pieces. U.S. is talking about moving out of South Korea. Trump has talked about maybe moving out of South Korea. If he does that, then he just opens South Korea up to be taken over by China. And let's just be honest. South Koreans are not bad people. So to do that to them would be a catastrophic. Would be catastrophic. But let's get on past that stuff, okay? And try to make a good video because this is a good weekend, and have a good have a good weekend, and I hope you have a good Monday, especially. Uh, but what I want to talk about is this book right here, the Sun Tzu Art of War, one of the most famous books ever made in history. Uh, Translated with a historical introduction by Ralph D. Sawyer, like Sawyer Brown, Ralph D. Sawyer. Um, you might would actually like this book, and there's a reason why I'm going to tell you that this can go along, that this book in particular, The Art of War, can go along with the prepping. Um, and basically, it's got a good thing to it, Yeah, hey, just for this one, I brought out my sword. I bet you didn't even know I had that guy. Yeah, I've got a sword. That's my that's my two-sided sword. I'm not exactly sure which fighting style of sword this guy is. I'm not even sure what kind of fighting style it is. It's full tang though, and but who actually fights with swords anymore? I don't really know. And believe me, this would not be something you want to drag around. It is heavy. Believe me, it's solid metal, solid steel. Uh, but I think it's more of like an Indonesian style. I'm not exactly sure. If you can figure that out, let me know. I've had it for years. I've had it for years though. I don't really know exactly what kind it is. But anyway, my friend, if he was still alive, he'd be able to tell you. But anyway, the Sun Tzu Art of War. I'm gonna call this video Sun Tzu Prepping, and it's going to seem kind of crazy, but there's there's a lot of things you can learn from this book, in particular, and basically, it's about you can even watch YouTube videos on it. A lot of it's about adapting yourself and knowing your enemy, getting a good idea of what they are and how they work, and basically maybe even having spies that will tell you information of what's going on, in particular in that camp or something like that. And let's say raiders or somebody trying to come in and invade you and everything else. Well, in this book here, see, Sun Tzu was one of the greatest generals in world history. He was a general back around I think they said it was like 525 BC. So, and he's like an old Chinese guy. So this guy was like really old Chinese, really old Chinese type guy. He was there around the time. I think they said he was there around the time the Great Wall of China was built and stuff like that, before the Mongolians had ever took over China. And so basically, he basically is he basically was a really great general who had a lot of different tactics. And let's talk about some of those tactics and how that can be beneficial to prepping. So, if you think about it, prepping isn't just about prepping isn't just about buying food, water, guns, this and that, store dried stuff. It's also about a lot of different things, different aspects, and different things of life. Different things. Like one of those things is you basically hide stuff. You have different places and things you can hide stuff. Then also it's the protection side of things, and then it's also kind of raiders and uh, warlords and stuff like that would just want to take what you have. So let's be clear on that. So basically, it's a lot about. Gotta get rid of this pillow. Look at that. Yeah, I gotta get rid of this pillow. My dog's claws doesn't agree with this pillow too well apparently. But yeah, so basically it's about knowing your enemy and trying to find different ways to outsmart that enemy. So let's say, just going to give you some prepping examples of different scenarios that you could do that would be beneficial to you. Let's say you have 30 people that come in and try to raid your house, try to raid a house or something like that, and there's only 10 of you in that house, but you got 30 people, right? That's coming in. So, in the short term, you might not think that would be such a great that would be something that you could beat. Well, if you read something like the Sun Tzu Art of War, it would be something you could beat because inside the house you could have somebody inside that has, let's say, AK-47s and AR-15s, and they could be, while somebody's trying to come in, the person could be in there to guard the fortress inside, right, from the inside, which means they're going to have to fire kind of like more towards the house, right? But the thing about it is, you only got, let's say, 2 or 3 people in there going, doing this stuff, and then, putting them up behind sandbags and stuff like that in the house would be beneficial too, or some kind of just solid steel plate that nothing can go through. Well, while this is going on, you have people on the outside, 8 people on the outside. So you got somebody shooting at them from the inside, and if they make it in somehow. They can still shoot them from the inside. 2 well-trained people. But then you'd have people, let's say, on the outside, 8 people on the outside. So all 8 of these people be on the outside, waiting for these people to come down and try to go inside the house. So while they come out here in this open area, then you come in from all different sides, and then you got them. So basically, you can hit 2 or 3 people. One person can hit 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, even 10. Just come in, just light them all up, and they never know what happened. Especially if you hit it all like on one time. Okay. So that's where something like this comes in handy. It actually teaches you stuff like that. And another thing is, like, they be thinking, you make one house look like it's active, right? But at the whole time, you just, let's say, go in that house and let's say you turn on a kerosene lantern and stuff like that, kerosene lamp, stuff like that, oil lamp, or something like that. And so people, they think that this house is active. You see, you go in, but you're not actually in that house. Where you're at is you're in the house next door in a dark room. Okay. So let's say while they come in this house and you see them, you done heard them, you see them, they're all coming in the house and everything else, and you're in that dark room over here. You've actually done slipped all this stuff out of this area, out of your back door somehow, or you slid it out under the cover of dark. You took it over to this other house at nighttime when nobody's around and nobody sees you. So you take all the stuff, you slip it out, slip it around, you're over there in the house next door. And there's going to be plenty of vacant houses. So while all these raiders and stuff are coming in, you're in the house next door. So after they're all in there looking and trying to find this and that and everything else, you come in the doors on them. And then that's when you just come in and you let them have it all. Just let them have it all. You just shoot them down, everything else. Another thing you can do is, let's say, whenever they do all this, you can actually have a way to shut the doors on them. To shut the doors, and as they try to come out or something like that, you can just shoot through the freaking walls, and the bullets will go right through the walls, And if the walls are, let's say, brick or something like that, well, there's a bigger problem. But what you can do is you can bolt and lock the doors behind them, and then you can, let's say, whatever, set the house on fire or whatever. Uh, so there's different things about under the Sun Tzu Art of War that will give you different tactics and methods and stuff like that. Plus, you gotta get to know your enemy. What do they have? So if you kind of determine that your enemy has working motorcycles and somebody's trained to be able to ride those motorcycles and shoot at the same time, then you know you got that problem to deal with. Then you've got other kind of problems to deal with. And then another thing under the Sun Tzu Art of War too, like let's say a heel is an advantage. So there was actually a case at one time when the United States Army Rangers was actually trying to go up a big hill, and they were going up this hill over top of this mountain. Well, while they were trying to go up over top of this mountain, over this hill and everything, the Germans were up there shooting down at them, and they had the advantage of shooting down at them. And that's another thing that the Afghanistans have had throughout history, is they've been able to be in the mountains and shoot down from a hill. Okay, so that's another thing that this thing also teaches you. And it also teaches you, like, don't go, pre-plan things. So if you actually plan on taking out these other people, that's bad, and you know that they're not going to be there for no good, then there's another thing that you can come up with, like in the Sun Tzu Art of War, that like you instead of just going over there, balls to walls, get it done, everything else, wait till you think they're sleeping, and then that's when you do it. So basically, don't care nothing about the resources, don't care nothing about what they have. You have your own stuff. All you're trying to do is protect your stuff. But don't worry about what they have. Just worry about taking care of them, and then you can salvage whatever's left. Do you get the point? So basically, there's a lot of good things that you can learn from the Sun Tzu Art of Prepping, in the Sun Tzu Art of War. So you should actually read this in conjunction with prepping. If you take and you put the two together, you can actually come up with some pretty good ideas about what you can do. We can learn a lot of stuff that not just from this, but we can look at a lot of stuff that happened during the Vietnam War, with stuff like traps and stuff like that the U.S. Army had never seen before. They had never dealt with all these different kind of bamboo traps and all these different kind of things. And you can look up that stuff, and you can see this stuff online on YouTube and stuff. So if you look that up, we can learn a lot from these guys, really. And this book would be very beneficial, and you can buy it. These books, you can get it cheap on Amazon or something like that. And it doesn't have to even be it's going to be made by the same author, because it's translated that way. But you can learn a lot from this book, because it will teach you. There's old tactics, old guerrilla warfare things, and old things that the United States government and governments of today have long forgotten. Like one of the things is set up a false trap, like I was talking about with the house. But you can also have, let's say, what looks like, kind of looks like, something that's actually a working vehicle, out there in front of the house. It's not actually a working vehicle, but it looks like a working vehicle. And you can actually pull that up there in front of the house. And then you can also have the oil lamps and stuff, like I said. So they think that the house is staying occupied, while the other things, while they're coming in, you got them. Okay. Another thing is, like, if you know they're coming in, and you know that they're going to come down through this, which way they're going to come. They're going to come right down through this tree line area. And in some cases, it may not be tree line area. You may be, let's say, in the desert. But if you know they're going to come, you got like sand dunes and stuff like that. So you can like hide up in them sand dunes, cover yourself up and cover it up, make it look like there's nobody there. And as they come down this little path area, you can drive them in through this little path area. you can jump up from both sides and then get them from there, or you can be up in trees and you can get them that way because they're driven through this thin line of stuff. And that's what he talks about. That's what Sun Tzu, Art of War, and Sun Tzu come up with, and that's very true if you think about it. So there's a lot of things you can learn, and really get this book. It'd be really good. I'm gonna call this video Sun Tzu Prepping, just for fun. But yeah, try to make a good video. But I still want to make a prepping video. This is a prepping channel. This is not a gun channel. This is not whatever. This is still a prepping channel. But this would be a good prep, and it's something you can do on the side. You got time. It's not like you got a whole hell of a lot of money these days. So take it and run with it, man. Enjoy yourself, and just read your book. Even if you only read 15 pages a day, then just those 15 pages a day, and then put a bookmarker there, you'll get that book read in a period of time. Even, what else have you got to do? Even if the world comes to an end, you still got a book to read. That's what I always say. When all this stuff finally falls apart, books are where it's going to be, because, hey, you're not going to be able to watch TV. You might be able to get a little bit of television on, but you won't be able to get much. So the bottom line is, think about that. Get you one of these books. Anyway, be good, be good at it, take it easy. Hope you enjoy your holidays.